Molly, nearly everyone I spoke with on this street said they heard the gunshots this morning. It was right as people were getting ready for work. This is the front of a Dollar General store right here, and if you walk with me over here, it was back behind the store. This crash happened in the middle of the day while the SUV involved in this case crashed right into this trailer right here. In fact, you can see there's still debris, pieces of the SUV on the ground. She wanted to vote absentee, so a few weeks ago, her parents brought her absentee ballot request to the Board of Elections office. Out here at the scene, you get a sense for why first responders were so concerned. I mean, you just see the size of this plant. Now, if we look right here, there's actually an ambulance going back through right here. We've seen quite a few of these. Robert Angel, this video was something else, I tell you what. So we're talking about this house right here behind me. I pulled up Zillow today just to have a look at the listing. All over the property, also different pieces of debris after this storm moved through, like this slat of wood. According to this doctor, 9 patients came here to Grandview Medical Center, and the emergency room team here on duty at the time had 1 to 2 minutes notice that they were on the way here. If you've seen the video out of Florida, you've no doubt seen sites like this. Broken, heavy pieces of concrete piled high, and it's right at this site Ohio Task Force 1 trains for the types of missions they're on right now.
How you doing? All right.
Inside the garage at Raleigh-based Oak City Logistics,
You just put a new motor in this one?
we found mechanics putting a new engine on an old truck. An engine they're just glad to have.
They're waiting on parts that we don't know when we're going to get.
Owner Bobby Askew showed me the retired trucks they're putting back into service, with new trucks scarce and used ones hard to find. But even when he keeps his fleet of 65 on the road,
It's stressful.
and even when he can find enough drivers, the problems do not end.
A lot of these warehouses you're going to, they just don't have the manpower to load these trucks in a timely manner.
The American Trucking Association points to these issues in warehouses, with shipping, and the chronic shortage of truck drivers as pieces of the global supply chain problems we've seen play out in the form of empty store shelves and container ships congested at sea.
It's the nation's workforce shortage that's really impeding the supply chain.
You're doing everything you can for your drivers, and you just don't feel like you're doing enough.
Askew shared his frustration about a cycle he says will just not end.
Everything's felt like a false bottom. You know, it's hard to get a grasp on it.
1, 2, 3.
As people powered through day 3 of storm recovery, the horrifying memories from Monday night were still so fresh for some.
Scared out of my life.
Jerome Ware says he and his wife were in the bedroom of their Trotwood home.
I was talking to her and I was standing right here. And she kept saying, that wall is moving.
The whole family started to run to the basement, but only the kids made it. Ware and his wife trapped as the ceiling caved in.
And I just kept feeling for her hand, and I finally found her hand and pulled her towards me.
They made it out safely. Now, a few nights later, the sounds of cleanup filled their neighborhood and streets across the region. Neighbors working hard, but helped by volunteers like these guys we found in Trotwood, stopping by their second tornado-ravaged city of the day.
We went over to Brookville and they had plenty of help, so we come down here to see if anybody needed any help.
I was going to drop off some water.
But one of the biggest needs in the community still is clean water.
You think you can carry 2?
While many across Montgomery County learned Thursday they no longer have to boil, there are those, especially in the hardest hit areas, that still have to.
You need some water?
That's why this group rode around handing out bottled water as News Center 7 tagged along.
They're very thankful.
That's something we saw.
This here is a blessing.
God is good.
Meantime, back at what's left of Ware's house, despite this mess, he says he's thankful.
Yeah, I'm just happy everybody's alive in the community. They showed out.
You still catch an occasional whiff of smoke out here, and also a night later you see the police tape remaining in place roping off this property. When you look at this house, though, it is remarkable seeing this, that anyone made it out of here alive.
My wife heard some screaming, and I looked out the window. I saw the flames from my house.
By the time Todd Weissman ran down the street, it did not look good.
They were just, I mean, that thing was fully engulfed. Flames were probably 10 or 20 feet tall.
Realizing his neighbor John was stuck inside, Todd tried to help, but the smoke.
And it just literally knocked us back, out of there.
Fortunately, a sheriff's deputy was nearby and ready to do a job you won't find in any description.
He never gave it a second thought.
Todd followed.
He went up here and he just did this with the flashlight, and we, from about here down you could see a little bit, but from here up it was just absolutely black.
Come to my voice! Can you hear me? Come to my voice! What's the name?
You could see John laying in there, and we both just crawled in there and grabbed him by the thing and just pulled him on out here.
Him himself gasping for air, but continue on into the house to rescue that gentleman.
From there, Clark County Deputy Andrew Miller went and got materials to help John seconds before the fire department and an ambulance showed up to put out the now raging fire and take the victim for treatment. A day later, the charred house, a sign of a lot of things lost, but no lives.
It gave me chills.
Deputy Miller's boss.
It makes me proud to be their sheriff.
Has no doubt what she saw in that video.
I thoroughly believe that if Deputy Miller hadn't have been there when he was, this would have been a fatal.
And don't forget about Todd.
Oh, I don't know about heroic. You just do what has to be done.
But let's remember, he too ran into a burning house. So why'd he do it?
I honestly, I just thank God that, he put me in the place to do what I did.
That victim did have to go to the hospital, as you heard, though. Fortunately, he did survive. And as for the sheriff's deputy, he did inhale some smoke here at the scene, but he was fine. In fact, the sheriff said he was back at work today. James, a couple people just going above and beyond there. The sheriff herself said this was some of the most unbelievable video she's ever seen.